The memoir title, Called by Mother Earth, A Father's Search for His Son. Its author, Mr. Greg Naterer, joins us on the line from PEI. Mr. Naterer, good afternoon. Good morning for you.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell me, to start, what life for you and the family was like before October of 2020?
Yeah, we had a normal life. I think I was, I worked at Memorial University. I was the Dean of Engineering and Applied Science there. My wife was leading a successful fundraising company, and our three children were all doing very well, including Jordan, who was a student who had just recently graduated actually from MUN a couple of years prior to that. So by all accounts, I think normal family, happy family, but then everything changed on the Thanksgiving weekend of 2020.
And Mr. Naterer, I know many people are familiar with this story, but could you, for those who may not be, and for a reminder, could you just fill us in a little on what happened after that Thanksgiving weekend and for you and the family?
Okay, so well, on that Thanksgiving weekend, on the Saturday night, my wife Josie called Jordan. As per our regular practice on a weekly basis, he was doing his graduate, just recently finished a master's degree in electrical engineering at UBC. And to our surprise, he didn't return the call that Saturday night. So we were on edge throughout the weekend, and I really felt myself personally unsettled that something was not right. And then on Monday, we got the call that it was just changed our lives forever. It was Vancouver Police Department who notified us that our son Jordan was missing. And from there, I immediately went out to BC. Search and rescue mission began, and unfortunately concluded very quickly after 4 days. But my family and I, we continued to search for the better part of the next year. Unfortunately, what happened is Jordan was hiking. He was an avid hiker, very talented, physically fit. But this particular time at Manning Park in BC, accidentally lost a trail when he was caught off guard with a snowstorm that happened at some higher elevations.
Through this and everything that happened and after, there comes an idea for you at some point about a memoir. When did you start thinking about this?
So initially, I had not wanted to write about this story, sad, tragic story, in view of the difficult, memories and just reliving all of those. But when the weeks passed after we found Jordan's final resting place, my wife Josie encouraged me to write about our story. Family members and sisters-in-law also encouraged me. So I thought about it again, and I thought, okay, I'll start writing down what happened. And it soon became a labor of love, actually. It was a story that deserved to be told. I realized that it would be a special way to keep Jordan in our hearts forever. And really a special keepsake for our family. So also perhaps an inspiration to other families, when terrible things happen, never to give up on their children, regardless of how hopeless the situation may seem. And, other perhaps help to others that face similar circumstances. How do I think go about a search and rescue with all of the available methods that one can use?
Tell me about the title and your choice.
Yes, so we had close connections with the Indigenous community, the Upper and Lower Similkameen Indian bands in BC. Pay a land acknowledgement, as they are the for the land on which we gathered and through which we were searching at Manning Park. There was a very wise Indigenous counselor, Mike Allison, who I found very supportive, supporting us emotionally, psychologically, and with great words of wisdom from Indigenous teachings. And on the night after we found Jordan's final resting place, he came to our cabin, and he basically was explaining that it was an honor in Indigenous teachings, the way Jordan was called by Mother Earth, who is named Timakshilik in the Lower Similkameen Indian Band. He explained these teachings of Indigenous peoples that have gone back thousands of years. Those words really struck a chord with us, and hence the motivation for the title.
I noticed back in last month in February when you tweeted about the book coming out, the memoir coming out, and you said in a tweet, it's about what I discovered while searching for him, about choices and perseverance, friendship and learning. It's about coming to terms with life and loss when terrible things happen. What are some of the things that you discovered through all of this, from the search and then also thinking about it during the writing, and those points of choices and perseverance, friendship and learning?
Yes. So on the surface of it, the book is about a search for our son, but it's really much more. Fundamentally, I think the book is about humanity, and it's about those points that you mentioned: trust, friendship, endurance. Each of those really have experiences that I faced and that our family faced have changed our lives in many ways. Trusting in volunteers who devoted their lives in some cases to help us find Jordan, and the friendships that we developed. Deceit along the way, that there were actually hard to imagine, but fraudsters that were really trying to take advantage of our vulnerability in the situation. I write about that. Compassion of people that we met, their kind-heartedness. My own endurance, going far beyond the physical means that I thought I ever would have been able to do. The amount of hiking, 30 kilometers a day, 20 to 30 kilometers a day on average through rugged terrain in the mountains. Also partly a mystery, determination, and, fortitude under difficult circumstances. It was much more than just a search for Jordan. It was, I think, more broadly about humanity and all the what things matter to us in life and what things really don't.
After your book, your memoir, you say you detail the 10-month, close to a year journey. How do you, as a family, and you as a person, how do you then move on past that into who you are now?
Yeah, I think Jordan would have wanted us to continue moving forward in our lives, and so that's what we are doing. We have there have been some positive outcomes, hard to believe, but there were. Through this experience, there were remarkable individuals that we met that really, who I call the salt of the earth people, that allowed me to stay in their cabin for the better part of a year. People who devoted their lives, as I said, to come out and help us search. Without these people, we would not have been able to find Jordan's final resting place. So it is very difficult. I do believe that Jordan plays an active role in our lives, similarly to listeners on the line, anyone who has lost a loved person. I do believe they continue to play an active role in our lives. And we are moving forward as a family with a hole in our heart that will never go away, but we'll always remain a family of 5, and so including Jordan. So that's we're moving forward in our lives as Jordan would have wanted it.
How much? And you've brought it up already in this conversation, but the learning lesson around humanity here, right? You talked about fraudsters, but then folks who let you stay in their cabin and the help and the the juxtaposition of the range of humanity that you've experienced. It's been quite the education for you and the family.
Yeah, there's a lot of goodness in the world when with people that I could tell you about, and I've shared this story with readers in the book, that go beyond just the unselfishness. So, just as a few examples, one individual who essentially left their job to continue searching with me on a daily basis. And keep in mind, like the odds of finding Jordan were stacked against us, very unlikely, yet people committing their lives to continue and never, giving up. And without their support, I wouldn't have been able to search, because these are really rugged areas off trail in drainages that are really entirely unsafe to go individually. So there was that. There were individuals driving hours each way just to come to the park several times a week. People bringing all kinds of other support, and all of the emotional support provided to my family, to Josie in particular, and our daughters. We had an active video surveillance team where people would analyze drone imagery and fixed-wing aircraft imagery over the entire park. People that would devote their lives, like every night, going through that imagery, supporting Josie and our family through the process. These are really salt-of-the-earth people, and something that will be forever etched in our hearts.
For the folks who've seen the book so far, what's some of the feedback they've given you?
Yeah, so people, latest feedback that I've received from some reviews is that reviews have never seen a book like this before, never read anything like it. And so it's much more than just a search for Jordan. It's a mystery. It's a personal struggle. How we as a family grew emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. When terrible things happen, how does one cope? And these were the comments, positive feedback we received, and especially all of the people who were engaged, who I want to give a shout out to here and now, the hundreds of volunteers who devoted countless hours financially towards fundraising effort that allowed us to continue this search. They are looking forward to the book. They have provided very positive feedback when they saw earlier drafts, and I hope it's a book that will also provide some help perhaps to others that are in similar circumstances, that may be going through a search and rescue crisis of their own.
Well, in my limited experience with these types of things, it is when folks like yourself share these types of deeply personal stories that it really does connect with people, right? This stuff matters. So, Mr. Greg Naterer, is the book available yet, or is it in a couple of weeks? When will it be on bookshelves?
March 26th is the latest I heard.
Sir, thank you so much for this conversation.
If I could just one more,
yes,
please.
Of course. Yeah.
All proceeds of the book will be going to a Jordan Memorial, Jordan Naterer Memorial Scholarship at Memorial University of Newfoundland. So that's where the monies will go. And secondly, the Canadian Canine Search Corps of Calgary, CCSC, is a wonderful organization that assists and helps families and teams in crisis who are looking for who have lost loved ones. I would encourage all listeners to please consider donating, again, to the Canadian Canine Search Corps of Calgary, Alberta.
Greg Naterer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The book, the memoir by Mr. Greg Naterer, Called by Mother Earth, A Father's Search for His Son, from Breakwater Books. Like you said, it's available soon.